Welcome to this webinar, a guide to healthy eating and food safety for expectant mums. So we're going to be covering everything to do with a healthy pregnancy diet, foods and drinks to favour, and foods and drinks to avoid. And we're also going to be covering the very important topic of food safety during pregnancy. Now remember, you are pregnant. You are probably going to have some cravings during your pregnancy, foods that you have to have right now. You might also have some food aversions, so they're foods that you don't want to eat. They may have been your favorite food before pregnancy, but suddenly just the smell of that food makes you feel nauseous. So that's okay. You just have to work with what your body's doing, how you're feeling, and aim to eat a majority healthy diet. Don't be too hard on yourself. You don't have to follow a perfect pregnancy diet. You just need to incorporate as many healthy foods and drinks in there as possible, and you'll be on the right track. Now that you're pregnant, it's the ideal time to review your diet. What you eat during pregnancy affects your own health and well-being, as well as your developing baby and your baby's health later in life. So let's go through some of the benefits of a healthy pregnancy diet for you, the mother. So the first one is nutrient intake. A healthy diet is going to provide lots of essential nutrients like folic acid, iron, calcium, and omega-3 fatty acids, and this is going to help promote your overall well-being and support the demands of pregnancy. Next is better energy levels. So proper nutrition helps sustain your energy levels. It's going to reduce fatigue and support you during the physically demanding phases of your pregnancy. Next is weight management. A balanced diet can help in managing your weight gain during pregnancy so that you have a sensible weight gain, as well as reducing the risk of complications like gestational diabetes and hypertension. Reducing that dreaded morning sickness. A healthy diet that includes small, frequent meals throughout the day with healthy foods in them can alleviate morning sickness and nausea, and this can improve your comfort. A healthy diet's also going to strengthen your immune system. So nutrient-rich foods boost your immune system, and this is going to protect you from infections and illnesses during this vulnerable time. You're going to have better digestive health. High fiber foods support digestive health, and this is going to help with constipation, which is a common pregnancy discomfort. A diet that's healthy can also reduce the risk of complications. So a well-balanced diet can lower the risk of pregnancy-related complications such as preeclampsia and gestational diabetes. You're also going to have a better, more positive mood potentially. Proper nutrition helps regulate those hormone imbalances, potentially reducing mood swings and promoting emotional well-being. And then, of course, there's postpartum recovery. A healthy diet prepares your body for postpartum recovery and breastfeeding, promoting a smoother transition after childbirth. And then, of course, there's your own long-term health. Good eating habits during pregnancy will help lay the foundation for a healthier lifestyle, benefiting your long-term health. So let's go through some of the benefits of a healthy diet for your baby. The first one is healthy development. So following a balanced pregnancy diet will provide the necessary nutrients for your baby's optimal growth and development. Next, really important, is a reduced risk of birth defects. So folic acid and other essential nutrients help reduce the risk of neural tube defects and other congenital abnormalities. Then there's the healthy birth weight. So proper nutrition supports healthy fetal weight gain for your baby, reducing the likelihood of low birth weight, which is associated with various health issues. Then there's your baby's brain development. So omega-3 fatty acids, they're found in foods like fish, are crucial for your baby's brain and nervous system development. And of course, strong teeth and bones. So adequate calcium intake during pregnancy supports your baby's bone and teeth development. Next is a lower risk of allergies. So a diverse diet during pregnancy may lower your baby's risk of developing allergies later in life. And of course, like with mum, improved immune system. So nutrients like vitamin C and zinc in your diet enhance your baby's immune system, and this is going to offer protection against infections. Then there is stable blood sugar levels. So your healthy diet can help regulate your own blood sugar levels, reducing the risk of gestational diabetes in your baby. Optimal organ development, very important. So essential nutrients can help in the proper development of your baby's organs, setting the stage for a healthy life. And then there is the long-term reduced risk of chronic disease. A balanced maternal diet can influence your baby's risk of chronic diseases later in life, such as obesity and type 2 diabetes. When you're pregnant, you only need to increase how much you eat by a small amount, but you do need more of certain nutrients. And you're going to get most of the nutrients you need if you can eat regular meals and include foods from the 5 food groups each day. Each food group is going to provide you with different nutrients. And the food groups are your vegetables, your fruit, your whole grains, your dairy foods, and calcium fortified plant milks such as soy milk, meats and meat alternatives. So these include your chicken, your fish, eggs, tofu, legumes. So those are beans and lentils, nuts and seeds. Now, most women are also going to need folic acid and iodine supplements, as it's quite difficult to get enough of these from food alone. So they're your food groups. When you're looking at your plate and you're looking at the food you have throughout the day, you might initially want to keep a food diary. Are you eating a variety of foods from all these different food groups? So how do you include a variety of foods in your everyday meals? Well, each day you want to aim for half a plate of vegetables at each meal, a quarter of the plate as protein, and a quarter of the plate as carbohydrate. This is going to help you choose the right variety and balance of food. So you can see there on that plate, for breakfast, for your vegetables, you might choose some sauteed tomato, capsicum, some spinach and some avocado. You might have some eggs, which is the protein part of your plate, and then you might have a piece of whole grain toast there, and of course put some butter on there. You need fats as well. So by mixing up your foods but making sure that you've got vegetables, protein and carbohydrates, you're going to make sure that you're getting all those different nutrients you need by eating a variety of different foods throughout the day. So let's look at examples of food that you can include in your daily meals. So you want to include a carbohydrate, a protein source, and some fruits and vegetables. And you want to choose foods from each column when preparing your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So in the carbohydrate column for breakfast, a good option would be a piece of whole grain toast or perhaps a bowl of muesli or granola. Then remember, you want to add a protein at breakfast, so maybe you have a glass of milk or some yogurt is added to your granola, or maybe you poach some eggs and put that on your toast. But then you also want to incorporate some vegetables, salad, or some fruit. So maybe you add some avocado to your poached eggs on toast as a side, or you mash it onto your toast, and to that granola or muesli, you add some fresh blueberries. So when you look down at your breakfast, you want to ask yourself, where are my carbohydrates? What's my protein source? And am I adding some vegetables and fruit on the side? So let's look now at some examples of food for lunch and dinner ideas. So in that left column, which is your carbohydrates, there's some bread, you could make a sandwich, there's some wraps, there's some rice, there's pasta, and there's baked potatoes. So that could form your carbohydrate component of your lunch. And then you want to add that middle column, some protein. So are you adding some canned tuna maybe to your rice? Are you making a bean salad and putting it within a wrap? Maybe you're having a steak and baked potato for lunch. And of course, very important, that right column, where are your plant-based foods? So are you having some steamed vegetables? Are you adding a salad? What are you doing to get those beautiful plant-based foods into your diet as well? So carbohydrates, protein, and then lots of your vegetables or your fruits, your plant-based foods. Healthy snacks. Now you're pregnant, so yes, a lot of your snacks might not be that healthy, but like I've said, don't be too hard on yourself. If you're having a craving for chocolate or ice cream, make sure that you do enjoy it, but maybe just monitor your portion size. But when it comes to healthy snacks, there are lots of really great options. So you could have some vegetables with a dip, you could have a muesli bar, you could make some healthy muesli bars, nuts and seeds are a great choice, some cheese and crackers, some corn, yogurt, fruit is always a great option. Make sure you always have lots of fruit around, boiled eggs, some baked beans, some fruit toast with some butter or some dried fruit. Now, some of these foods are quite calorie dense. The nuts, for example, full of beautiful healthy fats, but you don't want to eat a whole bag of nuts because you're going to take in a lot of calories. The same with dried fruit. Much smaller portions because it's a more concentrated source of calories compared to having some fresh fruit, which has got a lot more water in it and fiber. So make sure that you have lots of healthy snacks ready to go. The key to eating healthy is making sure that you've got the food there to eat. So have some chopped up veggies in your fridge, have some fruit there in the fruit bowl, have some containers with different nuts in them so that when you want those snacks, they're available and you're making the healthy choices. So let's get into the nitty gritty of important nutrients that you need during pregnancy. So the first one is folic acid, also called folate. So this is a vitamin needed to build your baby's cells. In early pregnancy, it can help reduce the risk of certain birth defects, such as spina bifida. Now, it's difficult to get enough folate from food alone, so you will need to take a supplement. Start taking a folic acid supplement when planning your pregnancy ideally, and then continue taking it for at least the first 3 months after you are pregnant. So take either a daily folic acid supplement, 400 micrograms, or a pregnancy multivitamin. Now, some women with certain health conditions or who are overweight may be advised to take a higher dose of folic acid. Folate is important throughout pregnancy. So where do you get this nutrient from? Well, you want to incorporate lots of green leafy vegetables into your pregnancy diet, lots of salad greens, fruit, whole grain breads and cereals, fortified breakfast cereals. That means they've had this nutrient added to them. Legumes, so that's your beans, peas and lentils, and nuts are a really good source of this important nutrient. So make sure that you are taking a pregnancy supplement that does have this extra folic acid in there that you need. The next important nutrient is iodine. So this is very important for the developing brain and nervous system of your baby. As more is needed during pregnancy and breastfeeding, and it's hard to get enough from food, a daily supplement of 150 micrograms of iodine is recommended. Now, most pregnancy multivitamins contain this dose. There are supplements that are also available that contain both iodine and folic acid. Do not take kelp or seaweed tablets as they may contain too much iodine. And if you have a pre-existing thyroid condition, you'll want to speak to your doctor before taking an iodine supplement. Let's look at the foods that contain iodine. So it's found in seaweed such as kelp and nori, fish like cod, tuna and haddock. It's also found in dairy products like milk, cheese and yogurt, eggs and iodized salt. So make sure that the salt that you're using is iodized salt. It's also found in green leafy vegetables, salad greens, fruit, whole grain breads and cereals, fortified breakfast cereals where it's added, legumes, so beans, peas and lentils, and nuts are a good source of this important nutrient. You'll want to make sure that you're getting enough protein in your pregnancy diet because protein helps build all the body tissues of your baby. Aim to include protein foods in each of your meals, so a serve of protein at breakfast, lunch and dinner. So the choices include meat, chicken, fish, eggs, dairy foods, nuts and legumes, so dried beans and lentils, and food made from them such as tofu are really good protein sources and will help your iron and calcium intake as well. So when you look down at your breakfast, ask yourself, have I got a source of protein there? Have I got some milk or some yogurt or some eggs? Lunch, is there some protein with your lunch? Some sort of meat perhaps, or some canned fish? And at dinner, is there protein there, which is more likely to happen because that's when you're probably going to have your meats and your chickens and your fish for dinner. Next is iron. So during pregnancy, your body needs more iron to form red blood cells for yourself and your baby. Lack of iron can cause tiredness, and if severe, it can increase the risk of premature birth and low birth weight babies. Good sources of iron include your meats, your chicken, fish, and as well your plant-based sources, so legumes, so lentils and dried beans, your nuts, whole grains, and green leafy vegetables also contain iron. Now, iron from plant sources is not easily absorbed by the body, so eating vitamin C rich foods at the same meal can help to improve absorption. So that would include foods such as citrus fruits, berries, tomatoes, and capsicum. Now, if tests during pregnancy show that you are low in iron, you may need to take an iron supplement. So get your iron levels tested and work with your doctor if you do need to boost your iron levels with supplements. Calcium helps form healthy bones for your baby. And the richest source of calcium are dairy foods. So you can include lots of that in your diet, as well as fish with edible bones, such as canned salmon and sardines, as well as firm tofu. These are all good sources of calcium. There are smaller amounts of calcium in other foods, but most people do get the majority of their calcium from dairy foods. If you drink soy or other milks such as almond or rice milk, check the label and choose a brand with the same amount of calcium as cow's milk, so at least 100 milligrams per 100 milliliters. You need about 2 to 3 serves of calcium-rich foods each day. Now, if you don't eat dairy foods or other calcium-fortified milks, talk to your dietitian or your midwife or doctor about whether you might need to take a calcium supplement. Vitamin D helps your body to absorb and use calcium. It works together with calcium to build your baby's bones. Now, only a small amount of vitamin D comes from food. It's found in oily fish, egg yolks, and milk. Sunlight is going to help your body make its own vitamin D. But if you're indoors a lot, if you have darker skin, or you cover most of your body in clothing, your vitamin D levels may be low. And very low levels can cause bone weakness and muscle pain in women, and skeletal abnormalities called rickets in babies. If you are at risk, you may need to take a vitamin D supplement. So again, get your levels checked during pregnancy and work with your doctor if you do need to take a supplement. Omega-3 fatty acids are needed for healthy brain, nerve, and eye development in your baby, and they may have other health benefits. So these are found in your fish, especially oily fish like tuna, salmon, sardines, and mackerel. It's also found in walnuts, chia seeds, linseeds, which are also called flax seeds, and soybeans also contain omega-3 fats. Now, eating fish 2 to 3 times a week is going to help meet your growing baby's needs, but some types of fish may contain too much mercury and should not be eaten often. So you want to limit shark, which is also called flake, marlin, broadbill, or swordfish, to no more than 1 serve per fortnight, and then eat no other fish during that fortnight. You also want to limit orange roughy, which is deep sea perch, or catfish to 1 serve per week, and then you eat no other fish that week either. Now, some pregnancy multivitamins include omega-3 fats, and omega-3 supplements are also available, but you want to, very important, avoid fish liver oils as they contain too much vitamin A retinol, and too much vitamin A in your diet when you're pregnant can cause birth defects. Let's look now at vitamin and mineral supplements. So a balanced diet is of course the best way to meet the increased nutrient requirements of pregnancy. But if you are unable to eat well, a pregnancy multivitamin supplement may help. A multivitamin supplement can also be a convenient way of getting enough folic acid and iodine if you are not already taking these supplements. Make sure you check that any supplements you take are suitable for pregnancy. Multivitamin supplements not designed for pregnancy may contain too much vitamin A, and remember, too much vitamin A can cause birth defects. Ask your pharmacist, doctor, or dietitian for advice if you are unsure about any supplements that you want to take during your pregnancy. Let's cover vegetarian or no or low meat intake. So you can still meet your nutritional needs if you are vegetarian or you're avoiding animal foods, perhaps due to nausea or taste changes. You might have perhaps a food aversion to red meat. Make sure that you do include foods though that contain enough protein, iron, calcium and vitamin B12. So with protein and iron, you want to include food sources such as nuts, seeds and legumes. So they're your dried beans and lentils, and food made from them such as tofu. They're great sources of protein and iron. Other iron-containing foods include your whole grain cereals, your iron-enriched breakfast cereals, whole grain breads, and of course lots of green leafy vegetables. It's going to help boost your iron intake. Include vitamin C rich fruits and vegetables in your meals to help boost that iron absorption. Now, when it comes to calcium, if you're not eating dairy foods, use calcium fortified soy or other plant milk, or you can take a calcium supplement. B12 is needed for blood, cell, nerve, and brain development of your baby, and it's naturally present only in foods of animal origin. So vegans and vegetarians who eat few dairy foods or eggs are at risk of deficiency, especially as pregnancy and breastfeeding rapidly use body stores. Breastfed babies of vegan mothers are particularly at risk of B12 deficiency. So women at risk should have their levels checked, and they may then need to take a B12 supplement. Although it is added to certain brands of soy milk and meat substitutes, the amount in these foods may not be enough if few other sources of B12 are eaten. If you are concerned about a vegan or a vegetarian diet, or you're not eating any meat, then make sure that you do speak to your dietitian or your doctor to make sure that you are getting enough protein, iron, calcium and B12. So let's look now at the foods that you want to limit or avoid. So as well as limiting fish high in mercury, pregnant women should also be aware of the following food safety issues that we're going to go through. So the first one is food-borne infections. Pregnant women are at greater risk of some types of food poisoning and infections that can be then passed on to your baby. So to reduce your risk, you want to use really good food handling practices, such as using separate chopping boards for raw and cooked foods. Don't leave any leftover cooked food on the bench for too long. You want to place it in the fridge once it's stopped steaming. Avoid foods that may contain the Listeria bacteria, such as sandwich meats, soft cheeses that are not pasteurized, such as brie, camembert, ricotta, feta, and blue cheese, soft serve ice cream, pate, pre-prepared salads, smoked salmon, uncooked seafood, and pre-cooked prawns. Freshly cooked seafood is safe though. Listeria is killed by cooking food to boiling point. So when cooking or reheating foods, make sure that they are steaming hot. Now, raw meat and cat poo can carry toxoplasmosis. So to reduce your risk of infection, thoroughly cook meat, wear rubber gloves if you're handling cat litter or cat poo, and wash your hands after gardening or handling any of your pets. Avoid undercooked eggs and meat, and that's to limit the risk of salmonella food poisoning, which in rare cases can affect your baby. And you want to cook eggs until the yolk and the white are firm. Now, sesame seeds are also a salmonella risk, so avoid eating sesame seeds and ready-to-eat products such as tahini, halva, and hummus. Sesame seeds, however, that have been heat treated are safe to eat. So these are some of the things that you want to know about so that you can make sure you don't get any of these nasty bacteria that can get into your body and potentially harm your baby. So let's now cover alcohol, liver, caffeine, and vitamin A. Now, when it comes to alcohol, not drinking alcohol is the safest option when you're pregnant. So it's best just to not have any alcohol at all. Now, when it comes to caffeine, obviously tea and coffee contain caffeine, and these are safe to drink in moderation. For example, you could have 1 to 2 coffees a day or up to 5 cups of tea a day. Energy drinks can contain large amounts of caffeine or guarana, which is a source of caffeine, so they should be limited or ideally, I think, avoided. When it comes to liver and vitamin A, you want to limit liver to about 50 grams a week, as it can contain more than the recommended levels of vitamin A, retinol, for pregnant women. And as we've talked about, you don't want to have too much vitamin A when you're pregnant because it can cause birth defects. So let's talk about weight gain during pregnancy. So a lot of my clients who come to me after pregnancy for fat loss say that one of their biggest regrets is that they put on too much body fat, too much weight during their pregnancy, and they didn't realize how hard and how long it was going to take to get that body fat off after their baby was born. So you want to aim for a sensible weight gain during pregnancy. You don't want to put on too much body fat. Now, your recommended weight gain is going to depend on your pre-pregnancy body mass index, or your BMI. So to calculate your BMI, you divide your weight in kilos by your height in meters, and it's squared. And there's lots of online calculators that you can use to help you work this out. Check that you are in the recommended weight gain for your BMI range. If you find you've gained a lot of weight early in pregnancy, perhaps, then you want to aim to slow your weight gain down to the recommended monthly gain. Now, during pregnancy, dieting is not recommended. Instead, limit intake of high fat and high sugar foods, and do some daily exercise such as walking. So you do not want to be on any sort of diet or restricting calories when you're pregnant. Speak to your doctor, your midwife, or your physiotherapist if you are unsure about what type of exercise is appropriate for you. So how do you gain the recommended weight during your pregnancy? Well, gaining a sensible amount of weight during pregnancy is really important to support your baby's growth and development while avoiding excess weight gain. So let's go through 10 eating tips to help achieve a healthy weight gain during your pregnancy. So number one, balanced meals. You want to focus on balanced meals that, like we've talked about, include a mix of whole grain carbohydrates, protein, healthy fats, and a variety of fruits and vegetables. Also, you could try frequent, smaller meals. So instead of large meals, maybe 2 or 3 large meals a day, you could opt for frequent, smaller meals throughout the day to maintain steady energy levels and prevent overeating. So you might drop down to 6 small kind of snack type meals throughout the day. Always choose nutrient-dense foods when you can. So you want to opt for those nutrient-dense foods such as whole grains, your lean proteins, your nuts, your seeds, and your low-fat or full-fat dairy products to get those essential nutrients without having all those excessive calories come in that will probably get stored as body fat. Increase your protein intake. Protein is crucial for your baby's development. You want to incorporate sources like your lean meats, your fish, poultry, eggs, legumes, and tofu into your diet. Choose healthy snacks. So that includes your fruits, your yogurt, your nuts, and your whole grain crackers, and that's going to curb your hunger between meals and prevent excess weight gain. If you're having a lot of processed, sugary, high-fat kind of fast food, then you'll be taking in a lot of excess calories. Make sure you stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water throughout the day to support digestion. This is also going to maintain your amniotic fluid levels. That's the fluid that your baby's floating around in, and it's going to prevent unnecessary hunger. Limit empty calories. I think this is the key. You want to minimize sugary and processed foods that provide empty calories without giving you really any nutritional value. Doesn't mean you have to cut them out completely, but instead of having half or an entire block of chocolate, maybe you have 4 pieces, and then maybe have a small bite of chocolate cake rather than having a big slice. So that avoids this feeling that you're missing out. You're still getting some of this food, but you're just limiting your portion sizes. Do some moderate exercise. So with your doctor's approval, make sure that you're cleared to exercise. Exercise is going to help regulate your weight gain and improve your overall health. Avoid eating for 2. Now, while you do need some extra calories during pregnancy, you don't need to eat for 2. You're not eating for 2 adults. Your baby's tiny for most of the pregnancy. So you want to focus on quality of foods over quantity of food. Consult a professional. So you want to work with a registered dietitian or healthcare provider to create a personalized meal plan that meets with your specific nutritional needs during pregnancy. So if you're struggling maybe with food aversions or food cravings, or you've had some tests that show that you're low in maybe iron or vitamin D, make sure that you go and see a professional so that you can sort that out. Remember that every pregnancy is different and weight gain recommendations may vary based on individual factors such as your pre-pregnancy weight, your health status, and your medical history. Always prioritize the health of both you and your baby by following professional advice and maintaining a very well-balanced, healthy diet. So that is the end of the webinar. Let's finish off by going through a quick pregnancy diet checklist. So remember, eating during pregnancy is essential for the health and development of both you and your baby. So let's summarize what we've covered on how to maintain a healthy diet during your pregnancy. So the first thing is a nutrient-rich diet. So focus on nutrient-dense foods such as your fruits, your vegetables, your whole grains, your lean proteins, your dairy products, and healthy fats to ensure that you and your baby receive essential vitamins and minerals. Next is your folic acid intake. Consume foods rich in folic acid such as those leafy greens, legumes, fortified cereals, and citrus fruits to prevent birth defects in your baby's neural tube. Get adequate protein. Include sources of lean protein like poultry, fish, eggs, beans, and tofu to support your baby's growth and help with tissue repair in your own body. You're going to need calcium for bone health, so that's for you and your baby. So incorporate calcium-rich foods like dairy products, fortified plant-based milks, broccoli, and almonds to support your baby's bone development. Lots of iron-rich foods, so this includes your red meat, your spinach, your lentils, and your fortified cereals to prevent anemia and support the increased blood supply during pregnancy. Make sure you choose healthy snacks, so these include things like fruits, nuts, yogurt, and whole grain crackers, and that's going to help curb that hunger that you might get between meals and help you maintain those energy levels. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water throughout the day to prevent dehydration and to maintain that amniotic fluid level for your baby and support your overall bodily functions. Limit caffeine and avoid alcohol when you're pregnant. So limit caffeine to about 200 milligrams per day. So that's about 1 to 2 cups of coffees or up to 5 teas. And avoid alcohol altogether during pregnancy to protect your baby's health. Remember to practice food safety. Avoid undercooked or raw meats, seafood, and eggs to reduce the risk of foodborne illnesses. And wash your fruits and vegetables thoroughly and follow proper food handling and storage practices. Listen to your body. So pay attention to your body's hunger and fullness cues. Eat when you're hungry and stop when you're satisfied. Try and avoid overeating or restricting calories excessively when you are pregnant. Finally, it's important to take a prenatal multivitamin and mineral supplement as prescribed by your healthcare provider. This is going to help fill in any nutritional gaps and ensure that you and your baby get the necessary nutrients throughout pregnancy. Remember, always consult with a healthcare professional or a registered dietitian for personalized advice and guidance on how to maintain a healthy diet for you during your pregnancy. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, please email me or message me.